YouTube, what's good? Frost here. Today we're going to be checking out the Stasis changes that Bungie has been hyping up. On paper, when we read the TWID, we weren't really hyped up. So we're going to take it into a private match and even PvE a little bit to see what is actually going down with these Stasis changes. I'll show you the Hunter, the Titan, and then the Warlock. So I hope you enjoy, and if you do, drop me a like, a comment, don't forget to subscribe. Stop by the Twitch channel to come say hi. Let's dive in. So thanks to the Winter Shroud buff, you can actually combine that with Bombardiers to freeze targets. And with the right fragment setup, you can get your dodge back pretty fast, as defeating slowed or frozen targets can give you class ability energy and even make some orbs of power. And with fissures on top, you're doing a bunch of damage. Now this is kind of a meme setup. You can actually run 6 Coyote for the double dodge, so you can get close to targets, dodge once, throw the shurikens, dodge again, throw even more shurikens for a lot of ability spam, which sounds pretty good to me. Alright, so I want to test the new Winter Shroud buff in PvE with even more slow stacks. The enemy should get frozen. That was pretty fucking epic, I'm not gonna lie. And I have my dodge back immediately. Hey, yo! That was sick. So I defeat the slow targets, the duration lasts even longer, and I get my dodge back really fast, like actually. I can do that again. And the more mobs there is, the better. Every time I defeat a frozen target, I believe I get a normal power to spawn as well. And I only lose 10 intellect, which is not a big deal. Let me kill this guy and then see if we can get more mobs. Let's try this again. Oh, that is actually sick. I got my dodge back. Try this again. With Bombardiers. Meme are actually good. I don't know. Finally, Bombardiers are pretty good. Hit that again. And it only gets better with the artifact mod. And then of course you could do like the bottom dodge to get your shurikens back. Spam that even more. Yo! That's actually sick. Alright, next up we're gonna try out Withering Blade inside a Crucible. Let's see what it looks like. Plenty of people were complaining that the melee was very weak. You're throwing paper airplanes. So the following changes happen. We got increased projectile speed, increased maximum projectile lifetime by 10%, increased maximum bounce count from 2 to 3, and we got increased tracking consistency, which is basically the targeting of the melee when it bounces and it seeks an opponent. And they fixed an issue where the projectile tracking would shut off completely if your first bounce was off the floor. So let's go ahead and see how far it actually goes to snipe a player, and the speed too while we're at it. So that goes pretty far. Can you step further back? And it still keeps going. Trying to go further back, we don't have enough map. And it still keeps going. Alright, we're gonna have to go to the Vex portal. So I don't know about you, but that seems kind of ridiculous that I could just throw this across the map like this. It seems like it keeps going. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna aim it higher. Or directly at you. Yeah, so as you can see, the shuriken definitely crosses the entire map if you wanted to. Now, let's go ahead and take a look what the bounces look like. See if we can like seek an opponent. We're going to use some of these popular corners where normally we'll throw some shurikens in here without seeing the player. See what happens. I'm going to throw one here. No tag. We got a tag. And let's go ahead and flip that around, see what it looks like. I'm going to stand where you're at. And then see if you can just throw one. Hitting this wall. Oh. So, even with the buff tracking, it's not completely like turn off your brain and you're gonna get tags, but it should be a little bit better. You'll get some tricky like little bounces here and there when you least expect it. An improvement for sure, but I'm not noticing like aimbot tracking or anything like worrisome. Now, let's go ahead and see maybe if you're like around this corner here. And I'm a little bit like long range and you're one shot, I just made you weak. So that does track. That doesn't. You're still going to have to practice getting the right angle. It's decent enough tracking where if you want to do like a little cheeky play and get a tag, maybe you can throw it, but it's not always going to work. Now, I want to see the bounces. So you can get like 3. Can you stand over here? I want to see if I can bounce it here, back to this wall. If it's going to seek, maybe you want to stand like right here. So I can notice the tracking of the player there too. Oh yeah, you can see the tracking right there. Might as well. It's showing the improved like tracking consistency. I'm not even aiming at Tig and it's directly going towards him. Let's see how far I can look away from the player before the shurikens stop tracking. So even from there, what about even further away? That's crazy tracking, by the way. With the increased projectile speed, oh, that's almost there. So if you're like right here, it's not gonna track, but that's kind of wild though. In the middle of a gunfight, if you're trying to get a cleanup, it should now track to a player so long as your aim is like on target. That's pretty interesting, to be honest. I want to try with the airborne tracking as well, because normally you're like trying to jump up in the air, and that's gonna tag pretty easily. All right, see if I can bounce it. Maybe hits this wall. No, not quite. It came back to attack me. What gives? So that hit the wall, it ricocheted back, and it did manage to find you. So that's pretty nice. It gives you an idea. The consistency has improved with the Withering Blade. And that's pretty much it. I think the best part about it is the speed and the tracking of using this, because that's going to be really easy to hit players now with a little stack of slow. Yeah, noticeable. Let's see what it looks like if you're the one on the, you know, the end of the Withering Blade. Go ahead and throw it. So still slows me. Nice. Get closer and see if you can get the aimbot to show. He's basically not going to aim at me directly. And we want to see if the Withering Blade tracks. Was that a track?
Yeah. That was pretty far off.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's really fast. I can't even like see the animation until I'm already hit. So interesting. All right, so next up is the Stasis time changes. It states that Shiver Strike is now going to slow players like it used to, which is going to allow you to actually interact with the verbs and your fragments and aspects to create like a diamond lance, for example, in PvE and also in PvP, which is honestly where it's really strong, being able to slow targets on hit. And I'll show you here in a second why. It also allows you to freeze targets whenever you pop your super. We'll show you that here in a second. And lastly is Hollow of the Storm, which they improve the consistency of the cone freezing players, which is actually a pretty big deal inside of Crucible. Overall, I see these changes being more of an impact inside of PvP. Let's go ahead and check out the super one. So as for the radius, let's go ahead and see close range just to show it off. It freezes players. That guy's pretty far. Wow. I'm gonna waste this super and we'll come back and see how far we can actually get the snipe to be. All right, so I'm gonna get a little bit further away from Strasser. Let's see what this looks like. So I still got him. It won't get my buddy Tig over there. Let's go ahead and try a little bit further away. Okay, by this point it's actually not gonna hit. So you're gonna want to be like this close to a person. That is pretty fair, to be honest. This is like just popping in front of someone's face. I'm gonna try actually in the air. So I'm gonna try this in the air. And it actually freezes even if I pop in the air, which is huge. This is actually a really big deal because you can aggressively play with this, flying with Behemoth melee, and then pop your super in their face just to get a freeze. And what the hell just happened? How did I freeze you guys? What? Were you still frozen, Stress?
No.
Let me try from behind.
No, neither of us were.
What? That's not normal. What? Wait. What?
Oh, it goes back and forward.
It doesn't kill anything in front of me, but behind me it does. What? Yeah, if you're behind me, you literally get one shot killed. I'm about to turn my back on everyone inside of PvP, bro. What? I'm gonna pop like this. I'm gonna be like, wait. I'm gonna be like, yo! If you try to push me and if I miss, you actually get one shot killed instantly. That doesn't seem like it's supposed to be a thing. Can we get a test against the bubble? So first of all, let's see what happens when you pop against the time bubble. You go in here, you pop, boom, he's frozen. Great. Can you unfreeze? I want to see what happens when I pop looking backwards. So that freezes you right off the bat. And that just kills, dude. That's crazy. Might actually be more effective to pop like inside a bubble looking backwards. You just get the insta freeze. Try that again. Hey, yo!
You're only barely poking into. Oh, that launched us out.
Oh shit. Yeah, look at this. Don't get behind me, bro. Oh, that doesn't seem intentional. Like, I swear you could not do that with Behemoth time forever. All right, anyways, let's move along. We're going to take a look at the slowing impact on the Stasis melee. Now, the fact that it couldn't slow before was such a pain in the butt because you couldn't interact with your fragments. You couldn't make a diamond lance on hit, for example. But let's go ahead and see what happens now. So he slowed, I get the kill, and this guy's still slow too. Wow, that lasted quite a while. And that's gonna let me do like a diamond lance, for example, because it states that if I defeat a target with stasis abilities or weapons, it's gonna create a diamond lance. So before, even if you went in and cleaned up the kill with a stasis melee, it wouldn't work, which was dumb. But now that's fixed, that's really good. Now, another reason why the stasis melee is so strong is because the slow doesn't allow you to actually switch to your shotgun fast enough to counter someone flying at you. Can you have a primary out and then try to switch to a shotgun when you see me coming? Did it feel like arguably slower trying to switch weapons?
Oh, yeah.
Can you try to do the same thing to me? Use Behemoth melee, I'm going to use conditional.
I forgot you don't have to jump.
Oh yeah, it's significantly slower trying to pull out a shotgun even with 95 handling. And why is that a pretty big deal? Because it's allow you to survive after you hit the stasis melee. And there's actually a really disgusting combo you can do with Behemoth melee, which gives you like a crazy one-hit kill. I'll show you right now. Basically, it's a combination of Behemoth melee plus a regular punch. And it looks like this. So that's why I'm worried personally about this buff, because that right there is incredibly difficult to shut down. And if I can't even switch to a shotgun to shut it down, what can I do, right? Nothing. So I fly in and I melee right afterwards. It's an insane insta-kill. Is it a problem? Will it be a problem? Potentially. They might look at that and be like, that's not good. Try again. Insta-kill. But right off the bat, Behemoth does have some insane strong neutral play. For those people that have been waiting for it to be back, after that, I think it might be, bro. I think it might be. So let's take a look at how on the storm. This one basically just improves the radius of it. So we'll take a look. All right. So wow, that actually hit you from so far. What in the world? Try that again. I'm kind of shook it hit you from that far. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try from this side. Kind of from this range, maybe. Okay, that did 2 damage. It did not freeze you, but it hit you.
Yeah, and slowed. That was only times 15 for that.
Let's try a little bit closer. So that got you. All right. So the change was just really consistency. As long as the ice is touching the player, it's going to work now. I'm curious if even like next to him, it will work. That didn't seem to work. That ice was not touching him that time. Because it used to just kind of like freeze you if you were in the proximity of it. Which it does right here. You're not really touching the ice, it still gets you. That's important to know. Can you hit me with that ice as well? Can you slide melee so I can see what it looks like?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that freeze. Can you pop Behemoth and do that backwards hit as well? Just so we can see what it looks like from my POV. So I'm going to be behind you and you're going to pop your heavy attack. So that froze me that time. Try it again. Wait a minute. Okay, so that kills me.
I think it was too far.
It didn't one-shot me though, like it did for me. Let me see it again. So that froze me. Is there a reason why? Hold on, let me unfreeze. Try it again. Okay, that just straight up one-shots me. So if I jump over you in shotgun duels, like I'm trying to shot at you, I basically can't shut you down. Let's try that again. So I'm going to jump over you and I want you to do the attack. Now? Wait a second. Try it again. Okay, so hold on. Let me try it again. Go. So even if I'm like above your head, basically shotgun range trying to punch you, like I'm screwed. I better run away. Like I cannot make it so that you look like I'm looking behind you because I'm still going to die at that close range. Interesting. All right, that's pretty much it for the Stasis Titan. All right, so last up is the Warlock. A lot of people were saying that the changes for Stasis Warlock were absolutely terrifying because If you play Crucible, you already know Stasis Warlock is very strong. There's a couple of changes we're going to test. For example, Penumbra Blast has an increased detonation size from like 1.5 meters to 2. Even the Rift from FrostBolt got a buff, but in PvE it's only like a 0.5 meter increase. Your stasis turrets are now going to be connected to your actual grenade, so it should be much faster if you're using something like dust fields compared to cold snaps. Cold snaps got an improvement as well. They should seem much stronger for the sake of just seeing how they behave across all characters. I'm not going to use the gauntlets, but we will see my buddy Stress use them just to see how much of an impact it really makes. But let's go ahead and dive into the melee first. So basically, if you're new to the melee, you throw the ice, it freezes them. They call it a skill shot, so you have to be more on target to actually get it to register. Let's see how much of a skill shot it still is as I keep aiming a little bit further away from Strasner. So even, from that little bit of range, it's still going to freeze him. Let's see how far I can actually be aiming away from him. Okay, so not as forgiving as you would think. Let's get closer. That still freezes. So that's a little bit of a chunk away from actually like aiming at you that it'll freeze. That freezes. Wow. That doesn't seem like a crazy skill shot to me, to be honest. Holy. Let's try a little bit farther. That still gets you? What? Okay. No, I know the range, but I mean like the radius. It's still sniping you even if I'm not aiming at you. That's crazy. What?
That was really far off.
Oh my god. Can you do the same to me? Do it like a little bit further away from me. Hey, yo.
You see it curves a little bit?
Does it?
Yeah.
Keep aiming a little bit further away.
Okay.
Yo! Do it again.
Just waiting on.
Yo! Okay, I want you to do it around the wall here. See if it gets me.
I can't even aim further left. Let's see.
Okay, that doesn't get me. I wonder why.
How far away were you?
I'm like on the edge right here.
All right, let me try again.
Okay, that gets me. Try it again. Let's flip around now. Let me try again. I hit the wall on accident.
That was actually how I got you, was hitting the wall.
So if you're camping around the wall, I can still freeze you like that. Even if, I can't see you. That's pretty wild. Okay, that's pretty good range. Let me try that again.
Tig said aim at the floor as well.
All right, let's try the floor then.
Yeah, I might splash it.
Let me see what that looks like. It seems like it works less on the floor, to be honest.
Yeah.
So if I'm flying at you and even if I miss, I hit the floor right next to you, it's still gonna freeze you. That's pretty interesting. They definitely made that way more forgiving, and a lot of people probably won't agree with that. But Stasis Warlocks are eating good. Let's go ahead and take a look what the cold snap tracking looks like. Now it's going to be kind of difficult to tell other than just me spamming grenades and seeing like how much it tracks really. See if I throw it further away. They usually get kind of dumb. So when you bounce the cold snaps, they used to not track well either. But now they seem to be a little bit more effective. Because if you were trying to like throw a bounce so it would track someone around the wall, it would be like less annoying or more annoying. So for example, if I'm like right here and I want this to like hit the player, I would just go like this. And now it's actually going to work, like be more consistent. So that's good to know. Do you have the gauntlets on, the Osmiancer gloves?
Yeah.
Can you like throw one like pretty further away to see like kind of how it behaves? So that snipes me, dude.
Okay, that was far.
Yeah, that was really far.
Let's see.
That's almost getting me. It's trying. Yep.
That's so
okay, that's
far.
a lot of range. Now, let's see if I'm around the corner. You can throw it a little bit closer. Let's see if it tracks me around the wall. It tried to. You could throw another one. Wait, what? That just completely ignored me that time. Interesting. So
hitting about there.
yeah, it shows to be a little bit inconsistent still, but I mean the cold snap nades, when they work, they put in work. All right, so next up I want to test the turrets. See how long it takes to actually get one compared to running a Dustfield grenade. Now I am in Mayhem, it's going to be really fast regeneration, but you still should be able to see how much faster you get your abilities. So I'm gonna throw this one right here. Let's see how fast it regenerates. Kind of just get a little feel for it. Get a little feel for it. All right, let's see what happens when I put on a Dustfield. All right, so I'm gonna throw this now. Oh, it's significantly faster. It's definitely now tied to your ability grenades. The cold snap felt like it was taking a while for me to get another stasis turret. And now I can just spam this one. I want to try the new exotic changes here real quick. So this exotic is a new stasis change, the most significant one we got this season. It says it buffs your allies in the range of the Winter's Wrath Shockwave and Frost Pulse, gain an overshield, and increase damage with stasis weapons. So basically your teammates are going to get an overshield. Think of Bastion. Let's go ahead and test it out. So Stras, I'm going to give you an overshield. So that should buff you. I can tell you have an overshield. And it looks like Tig was able to hit one burst to break the shield. Wait, if you stand in my... Do I get an overshield too? Wait, I have an overshield as well. I buffed myself.
Yo.
So my rift gives everyone an overshield. I could tell my character's like buffed up right now. Stasis shard overshield and it lasts about 10 seconds. That's incredible. If I stand in the rift, I don't get it back. Or so I don't think. Wow. Interesting. And you get a stasis damage type buff as well. So that's really interesting. This is like Bastion, but for Warlocks. Minus having a Titan Barricade. You pop the rift, you could just run around with Overshield. Yeah, can we find out the numbers on that? Does the Stasis Overshield have more HP than the Bastion one?
So I think it does. He just did 27 times 3, and he just barely takes off any of my actual health.
Okay, and
so
while...
it should be 75.
Okay, so that's kind of like our guess right now. If you know the exact numbers, definitely let me know in the comments down below. But it seems to be a little bit more tanky than a regular Titan Shield, which is it's kind of interesting. It definitely opens up the question whether or not some Warlocks will be running this exotic gauntlet for their PvP teams. All right, well, that's pretty much all the stasis changes covered. Now when you play Shadebinder, Behemoth, or Revenant, you got a clear picture of what to expect. There were some other changes for the fragments. So for example, Whisper of Hedrons no longer gives you minus 10 strength. Whisper of Impetus now gives you plus 10 resilience, which I actually really like. Whisper of Shards no longer gives you plus 10 resilience. Whisper of Hunger got changed from the minus 10 mobility / intellect to now minus 20 strength. And the last but not least is Whisper of Bonds, which they removed the minus 10 discipline penalty. That's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.